Good afternoon, welcome to Maybaggarna. It's Anna here, and I'm here with a flip through of Daisy. I finished her yesterday, and I thought I would just give her a flip through. So this journal just happened to happen. I came home from our holiday and I was sick, and I couldn't barely speak, and I couldn't film. So I sat here at my desk watching videos on YouTube on my computer over there, and I had this journal book with me for fussy cutting birds, because it's a bird book. And I brought it with me on holiday, and I fussy cut lots of birds. And when I was sitting at my desk, I was flipping through a book that I plan to make into a journal for myself. This book, I have been, she was called Daisy. It's about this lovely lady, and I was, as you can see, I have been taking lots of stuff out of this book, which is great, by the way. And this is a biography of Princess Margaret, and Crown Princess Margaret even. And she, in that book, I found this image. This is an image of her right after she became Princess of Sweden, married Prince Gustav. And yeah, and I was going through the book and I saw that cover and I thought, oh, those would go great together, wouldn't they? So I got to the book, I ripped out my stuff, and I started to look at things. And first I got some flowers out of scrapbooking paper, put another scrapbooking paper behind. I covered the spine with fabric because it was quite boring. And then I added a bit of fussy cut and collage to the back. And then I found this lovely yellow lace, and it just came together so nicely. And then I started working on the signatures. So as I said, the journal is called Daisy, and it is 11 3/4 of an inch by about 8.5, and the spine is 1 1/4 inch. It has 9 signatures. That is sewn in with a 5-hole pamphlet stitch, and there is, I didn't count the pages. Oh, I'm gonna put the page number down below. I'm just gonna write a big question mark on my note paper. Anyway, this journal came to be a bit about Margaret. She called herself Daisy. Margaret, Marguerite, Daisies. It's kind of, no need to give you a clue about that. And it kind of became about her as well, and her family, and her very short life. She only became 38 years old. So let's start the flip through. The end papers are vintage wallpaper that I have in my stash. So, and it is vintage, so it's not 100% perfect, but I just love the yellow roses. I added a piece of lace here to make it even more pretty. I saved this, is it called salvage edge, even on wallpaper? It's supposed to be cut off when you do the matching, but I chose to save it. And I think it's absolutely gorgeous. No pocket here. You can put that on if you like one. And yeah, I think it's pretty. In this journal, I have started every signature with an opened up envelope. And this is the first one. I think it gives it a bit of an interesting look. And here we have the wedding photo of Margaret and Gustav, or Gustav Adolf as he actually was called. And this is a tip-in. I covered it with avocado dye paper and added a stripe of washi tape there. And this is I found it in another book that was about royal weddings in Sweden. So I have bumped into these two in very, very many places lately. So I think it was just decided that I should do this journal. And I think that's an absolutely gorgeous image. This is the original first page of the text block, and it was published in 1980. So it's 45 years. And no, 1987. Sorry, 38 years. And this is some coffee dye paper I did with some stenciling. I think that turned out quite regal. I have added, this is French dictionary. No, not dictionary, encyclopedia. And it has the Marguerite here. And all the different Margarets and Marguerites. So I thought that was suitable. We have ledger that was quite big, so I have just folded it up and added these labels to the edges and a bit of fussy cuts, and we have 2 pockets. In this one we have a journaling card that I made with some lilies on, or irises, and in this one we have a little notepad that I made as well from a book page that I just folded, and I sewn in some pages, and then that folds over, and I have added a stamped piece of tea-dyed paper and a little label down here. That turned out quite cool. I'm gonna make more of those booklets. More of the French dictionary. Here we have another piece of stenciled paper. And on this page from the original text block, I added a fussy cut and a little bit of my watercolor swatches. And the back of the first envelope. So that was the first signature. Going into the second one, we have another envelope. We have more of my coffee dyed paper. This one is with a piece of tablecloth, I believe. And here we have a music page, and I added this fussy cut from a book about roses. And here I have tried to pick up some of the colors in the image with my watercolor swatches. I'm so into doing those right now. I have mended a little tear with my 4 vintage cellophane tape. We have more ledger. Here we have a vintage telegram. I just love that blue and yellow and gold. And it's a birthday telegram from 1958, and it's a genuine vintage ephemera. And did I say that, by the way? Did I? In the center here we have a vintage, antique 1892 invoice. And I have mended that as well, put a little tab up there, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And it's about they have bought tobacco. And in the center of this signature we have a page from an art book. Raphael Santi, the Joseph without a beard and the Holy Family. So baby Jesus looks at his father and think, oh, who are you? Or father. Anyway, yeah, I love using old masterpieces in my journals. And here we have another tip in, and that is the Daffodil Fairy. Lots of color in this journal, more than usual for me. Lots of yellow and pinks. We have the back of the telegram. And here I made a pocket, and I used a die cut to cut out this rose pattern, and then I tore the page and I added a piece of vellum behind it because it's quite fragile, and I just taped it on and glued it on and added a little label down here. Inside the pocket we have a unsent old card. It's a postcard. And we have the header of La Mode Illustrée from 22nd of August 1880. I believe it's Dimanche, Sunday maybe. It will cost us 25 centimes. And this is a genuine piece of newspaper. So I have some interesting things to look at there, and I think this is so beautiful. I just wanted to send it along in this big journal. We have the back of the music paper, and here I just sewn on a piece of tea dye paper, and everywhere I have sewn, I have knotted the threads, but left the threads long. So if you don't want them long, you just cut them off. I did a tiny bit of stenciling on the back here to add some interest. We have the back of the coffee dye paper with lace, and the back of the envelope. And here I had this piece of eyelet lace, and or eyelet trim, and I just thought it would really suitable for this envelope, and I sewn it on. Absolutely gorgeous. We are starting the third signature with another envelope, of course. I have raided my stash to find really big ones. This is a page from the original text block, and down here we have a pocket. And this is an image of Queen Victoria of Great Britain. And this is little Daisy, or Margaret. She was Queen Victoria's granddaughter. And this is a detail out of a painting. And I think it's absolutely beautiful. Also goes well with the yellow and all the colors. And I just added a piece of trim here. And inside the pocket I added it's a small notepad, scrap pad that I made. In my Use It to Lose It, we have lace on top. We have a scanned and printed cabinet card. This is from my own stash. We have a book page, tea dyed paper, letter, envelope, music paper, tea dye paper that's stamped. So you can use that in your journaling. Here I have added a Edith Holden folio in afterwards. After I sewn it together, I thought this was quite a boring spread, so I just took a folio and I taped it in using surgical tape. And I fussy cut that little butterfly and put him there, and I think that looks quite nice. Something is happening here. This is avocado dye paper, and here we have another tip in, as you can see. And that is from a book about photography. So that is a house in Stockholm in Sweden. And I have backed it with some packing paper and added some textile tape on the side. We have a French book page, rag paper. We have a ledger from 1923 from a boat. Excuse me, it's really warm here, so I'm getting really tired. Love the writing on here. So this is also genuine vintage. And in the center here we have another old invoice. This one is from 1914. And someone has bought oh, it's washing powder, so you do washing. And on the back of this one I added a small collage with a piece of a letter. This is fussy cut out of a book, and this is fussy cut out of another book. And this is the family with Margaret and Gustav Adolf and their kids. So this is the oldest son, and I believe his name was Gustav as well. And that's the father of our king, if I'm not mistaken. So this is his grandparents. And we have Sigvard, who's famous for many design items. We have Bertil, which was the name of my father. He was named after him, and I can't remember. He died not many years ago, Prince Bertil. We have Ingrid. She turned out to be married to the King of Denmark and being the mother of Queen Margrethe, the old queen in Denmark, and that is someone else that I don't remember. the last child. They had 5 children and they loved each other very much. So, or maybe I do remember. I'm just going to see. I have little notes. Yeah, Carl Johan is the name of that one. Good. It's embarrassing to forget your own royal history. Here on this side of the French rag paper, I have added a double pocket. I took a 6x6 and cut it tag shape, and I glued it down like this. Then I stamped here, and I just added a little note in here that I thought could fit in the pocket. And on that side I added a journaling card that I made in one of my use it or lose it's. And down here I added another fussy cut like the one on the first page. And here we have the book guts and also the lining from the fabric that I covered the spine with, and I also used to sew in the signatures. And I just sewed that on. On this side of the envelope we have another image of Daisy when she was young. I believe she was about 17 or something. And we have a wax seal with a leaf on it because she loved flowers and gardening. We have another envelope. And here we have another coffee dyed paper with lace. And we have another French book page. This one is also really nice and thick, but it's not rag paper. It has some rag, but it's not genuine rag paper. Here I did a copycraft. I had a picture of this in my camera roll, and I just had to make my own take on it. So this is a postcard, a genuine vintage postcard that I glued down. Added some tape, and then I put that Tim Holtz guy there sitting on the top, and I think that turned out so cool. Inside it is another one of my use it or lose it journaling cards. And I thought it was quite suitable with the boat when you have the river there. Here we have some more ledger, and we have a photo from a book that's called Bilder ur Nordens Flora. So it's a botanical book. And here we have the lovely yellows, as you can see. Love those. And in the center is another invoice. This one is from 1919, and someone has bought something that I can't read. Nope, can't read that, but it's been paid in full. So I thought that was a really nice spread there with the yellow and the pink. And on this side of the French paper, I took this. This is also French. It's school notes, and I added this fussy cut lady here, and she tips up, and you can read the rest of the French grammar. More coffee dye paper, and the back of the envelope. And here I did a little bit of stenciling on the back. We have another envelope. We have a page from the original text block. I added some coffee dyed onion skin paper. I added a fussy cut from a fashion book and a few flowers. Extra journaling space there. And more of the tea dyed paper. Coffee dyed. We have an English encyclopedia, and here we have the Crown of England, which is referring back to the fact that Margaret was the granddaughter of Queen Elizabeth. Here we have another ledger, which is a funny size. It's really tall on this side. So this is a flip. You can journal all the way here. I added a pocket. This is craft paper, and I added some vellum that has pattern on it. Added an image and a label on top. I did a little notch, sewed around it, and now it's a double pocket. So in behind is this tag. I can't remember if I did it in use it or lose it or not, but I like that one with all the pinks. And inside is another little journaling card. Those go in there. Here we have some I believe it's stationery, and I have dyed it with both tea and avocado, so it's a bit stained, tea stained and avocado stained. Here we have a French letter with the back of it, the stamp and so. This is wrap paper, and that has been hinged to this beautiful book page that I thought was quite suitable. And I backed this one with, no I haven't, it was blank from the beginning. Here's the rest of the ledger, the big one, and here I just clipped on a little card that I have backed with some blank end paper or fly leaves. And this is once again Carl Gustav, or Gustav Adolf, I mean, and Margaret, and that is Margaret's younger sister and her mother and father. And this is one of the engagement pictures. So it's about 1905. Here is a tip-in with daisies, of course. And on this side is another plant. Oh, in Swedish it's, could it be kankers? In Swedish it's kastanj. Can't remember the word. And more English dictionary, encyclopedia. And on this side, this page comes from a book about photography, and this is like a raw copy that they have put in the book. And you can see that it was intended to be cut down because here is some ephemera that the photographer uses for his photos. So this was supposed to be cut down like that, and you weren't just supposed to be seeing that. I have backed it onto some cardstock, sewn around it, and now it's a pocket. And in here is Au Bon Marché, Paris, the 25th of November. It's a Saturday, and I believe it is advertisement for a market, like a shopping mall. And on the back is, this is so fun, the seating plan for a theater. And I immediately thought that maybe they were going to the theater in France, in Paris. So I added this to the book. And this is also genuine vintage ephemera. I have more tea dyed paper. Excuse me, vad är det?
Glass.
Du själv? Va?
Ja.
Ta en skål. Lite. Sorry, my son wanted to take some ice cream. This is also from the original text block. Here we have the back of the envelope, and here I added a fussy cut out of a fashion book. We have another envelope, and on this avocado dyed paper I added a pocket. This is from a photo album, a vintage photo album, and I stenciled. I love this stencil, especially if you want to do it on brown or craft paper. And I put it as a pocket. And inside the pocket we have another picture of Margaret. This is just before she met Gustav Adolf. So that's a journaling card. Here we have some braille paper, and here I did a thing. Here is a little flip out, Tim Holtz ephemera, Tim Holtz people. and you can journal on here. But this flip out, I decided to sew in some paper, so you have another little signature in here that you can journal on. Quite silly, but I couldn't resist. So it's journal within the journal, and if you really wanted, you could almost cut it out and use it as a separate journal. I thought that was interesting. And let's see, we have some tea-dyed book page with flowers on in pink and yellow and white. We have more ledger, and in the center here we have a folio from a book about the 1900s, and this is famous. No, it's not famous actresses. It's the fashion style in 1900s. This is a stage personality, and this is can't remember. Anyway, we have another stage personality in the 1900s. More of the flowers, and here I extended the braid paper instead, and I added this lovely yellow flower, and on this side it's another pattern. It's scrapbooking paper, and I sewn that on, and I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. We have more avocado dye paper, and that has been stenciled on. More envelope, and here comes another envelope. A bit of a mend here and there with my 4 vintage cellophane tape. Let me just get a sip of water. My throat gets dry. This is another page from the original text block. Up here is a little image with a girl holding a bunch of flowers, and here we have a belly band, and I did this, I believe, in one of my Use It or Lose It's. I think I did, or maybe I didn't, can't remember. Anyway, it's a belly band that I have been collaged together, and it's theater tickets. There's Monte Carlo Hotel, we have crown diamonds, we have the British flag, we have the grandmother and grandfather of her husband. We have lots of lovely things here. And inside the belly band I put this. This is the first page of a magazine from 1898, and I thought she was just beautiful, so I folded this so it would go in as it is. And you can do whatever you like with that. We have more on my coffee dyed patterned lace paper. Here we have the Marriage Mass. It's French religious book. Love the pattern around there. We have ledger, and this is a tiny flip. You can extend it, you can cut it off, you can do whatever you like with it. Here we have some extra journaling space and a little pocket here with a lovely little journaling card I made. I believe it was in one of my Use It or Lose It's, at a little stenciling back here. And in the center we have Queen Victoria, the grandmother of, and this is when she visited Ireland. She's in a carriage drawn by a donkey for some reason, and Ireland was very special to Margaret. She stayed there for lots of times with family and friends, so I thought it was suitable to put in. Here I have extended a tiny flip on the ledger from 1920s with a 1912 calendar page from France. February, March 1912. We have the back of the religious French book. We have more tea-dyed paper, or coffee-dyed. Here on this page from the original text block, I added this flip up with pink striped paper. You can journal on both sides. I stamped a little daisy there and specimen, and that is a Creative Expression Sam Pool stamp set. And on that page side I added a little piece of Tim Holtz ephemera, and that is a small uptuck, and I added a little handmade paper with that has been embossed that you can use. Put it up there. We have another tip in. This is the end papers from a book about music. And on this side of the envelope I added this lovely, I love that frame. I have seen so many people use it, and I finally got one. The die cut embossing thing. And this is a little photo that I decided to add behind it. Beautiful. And to the last, no, the second to last signature, this must be. We have another envelope. Love the stripes in that one. We have more stenciled coffee dyed paper and more music paper that I extended with this yellowish, and up here I added a little tab. This was actually at the bottom of the belly band that I collaged, but it was too tall, so I cut it off and added it as a tab. Here we have a letter from 1952 that I just hinged together, and here I have added on the edge the offcut of the scrapbooking paper you saw earlier. Here we have another ledger that someone has written in, page 6 and 7 and 20. Lovely writing space here. We have a daisy, of course, and some other interesting flowers. Here's the rest of the letter. Here I added a fussy cut daisy and a little label down there. And here I just took, I have embossed on wallpaper. This is the back of the wallpaper, and I just tore it off because I just tried. It's quite modern wallpaper, but I tore it down and made a pocket out of it, and I think that turned out really nice. Love the quality of wallpaper. And I added a little tag that I made, and yes, in my user to lose it, and added a piece of ribbon up here, and I sewed that on by hand. So, and here we have another tip in or tip out. This is a garden plan, and that would have been something that Margaret would have kept. She brought the British way of gardening to Sweden. They were gifted a lovely castle in the south of Sweden, in Skåne, called Sofiero when they married, and that had a huge park around it, and it was all, you know, big trees, and she decided to do gardening, and she planted huge rhododendron and different plants, and instead of putting the plants one on one, she added blocks of them, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I have been there, and this would have been something that interested her, even though that is really really much older, but fun. We have more of the coffee dyed and the back of that cool striped envelope. We have another envelope, the last one this time. This is from the original text block, but it was a white page, so I decided to do some stenciling in a little bit of pink, and more of the coffee dyed paper. This is a French religious book. No, this is Latin actually. And we have more ledger, and that was a flip that I extended with some paper that has been dyed with avocado. Down here I put a little pocket, added a little image, said pour toi, and added a piece of journaling card. Here I couldn't resist. I had to add a folio out of my eco-dyed papers. since she loved. And this is rose petals, rose leaves actually, and lilac. And this is a shorthand practice book that someone has donated and I thrifted. And I have inspired by both Carol at the Friendly Quail YouTube channel and Catherine at Sunnyside Journals. I have put Mod Podge on pattern paper. So this is quite durable now, and I sewn around it and made a pocket. Added a fussy cut butterfly and some antennae out of thread. And inside it we have a little journaling card where I did stenciling with texture paste. Absolutely gorgeous. I made this in a use it or lose it. And on this little flip I added the calendar for 1987, which was the year that the book was originally published. I added a little bit of fussy cut, and I have a book page dart that I did some, I used alcohol inks on. And here is a floating pocket with irises on, a little label and a little stamp, and inside it is another journaling card that I made with things for my stash. That goes in there, and I can put it in like this and add the little book dart like so. We have more of the Latin songbook. Coffee dye paper, more of the paper from the original text block that I added some stenciling to, and the last tip in, which is this beautiful image, and the last envelope. Love that waterfall there. And the back, once again, the same wallpaper and the same lace. That was Daisy, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this flip through. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Let me know down below what you think. And I will add the page number down here as well. And if you see this, I have listed her in my Etsy shop. So head on over and take a look if you are interested. Thank you all so much for watching. I will be back really soon with another video. Bye!